Hi everyone, it's Miss Jen from the Lawrence branch. For today's STEAM video, we're going to do an experiment about Groundhog Day. So just using some everyday household items, we're going to make some groundhogs that pop up and see their shadows. So what we're going to do is, first I'll tell you the supplies you need, give you a few facts about Groundhog Day, and then we'll get on to our experiment. Here we go. All right, these are the supplies you'll need to gather. First, 3 soda bottles. 710 milliliters is about what you want. This is actually a buy bottle that's 530 milliliters, which I like because the label comes off very easily, so you can really see what's bubbling going on in there. But anything you have about this size is fine. Make sure they're cleaned out, and you need 3 of them. Then you're going to need baking soda. Not too much. We're going to be using a half tablespoon, 1 teaspoon, and a half teaspoon of the baking soda. Put those together. Then you're going to need some white vinegar. We're going to put a 1/4 cup in each jar. So you need a total of 3/4 cups of white vinegar and a 1/4 cup measuring spoon. And if you have a funnel, that makes it pretty handy to pour the vinegar in your bottles. Then you'll need 3 balloons. Now, just a word of caution, if you're doing this with someone you're not really familiar with, make sure they don't have a latex allergy. I'm using latex balloons, but if there's an allergy, there are options out there that you can find. We're going to need a marker to draw on your balloons, so a Sharpie. It helps if you have something to clamp the balloon while you draw on it. So you need 1 to 3 binder clips. I have 3 little cups as well to help me pour the baking soda into my bottles. But if you have a second pair of hands, you can do it right from the spoon. So these are optional. And you'll need a flashlight. And one more thing. If you have a picture of a groundhog, that will help you do your artwork later on. All right, that's our supplies. Now you may be asking, what is Groundhog Day? Why do we celebrate this kind of odd holiday? So Groundhog Day is celebrated on February 2nd every year, and that's halfway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. The origins of this date way back to medieval Europe, when it was believed that the weather on this day, February 2nd, would help predict the coming of spring. Now this was particularly important then because there were a lot of farmers, and the farmers wanted to get their crops in as soon as they could, as soon as it got warm. And over the winter, you'd eat through what you had, so they really wanted to get those crops going and replenish their food stores. And now another part of the belief was that the behavior of hibernating animals, like hedgehogs, bears, otters, would help predict the weather too. So if they came out of their burrows, they woke up on February 2nd, spring must be coming. Now I said this was from medieval Europe. Well, when European settlers came to North America, they brought their beliefs with them. Here we don't have as many hedgehogs, but groundhogs, also known as marmots or woodchucks, are more widespread. So that's who they decided to look at when they were here. Now, in 1887, more than 130 years ago, German settlers who were in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, are credited with starting the festivities here in North America. So I'm sure you may have heard of Punxsutawney Phil. He's the groundhog who's woken from hibernation each year as part of a festival to see his shadow, and that's in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. You may not know, which I did, in Canada they also celebrate this, and they have a lot of Groundhog Day weather predictors. Some of them are Wiarton Willie from Wiarton, Ontario, Balzac Billy in Alberta, Brandon Bob and Winnipeg Willow in Manitoba, Gary the Groundhog, and Oil Springs Ollie in Ontario, Fred the Marmot in Quebec, Two Rivers Tunnel, and Shubenacadie Sam I'm not sure if I got that right, Shubenacadie Sam in Nova Scotia, and Dundas Donna, who is actually a North American Cody instead of the groundhog, and that's in Toronto. So they all come out on February 2nd to check the weather. And I'll say there is actually some truth to this legend, because the sunny days in winter are actually associated, or they're usually associated with the colder, drier Arctic air, where cloudy days are associated with the more humid, mild coastal air. And weather conditions usually last a few days, so whatever the groundhog saw on his day might actually last a few days, though no guarantee it would last more than that. Now, unfortunately, evidence shows that the groundhogs are less than 40% accurate, which isn't too good when you think that 33% accuracy can occur simply by chance. So today it's more just a fun way to celebrate the coming of spring. There are festivals all around the event, lots of media coverage and festivals. So now, on to our activity. Our first step is to prep our balloons. So not only are we going to stretch them out by blowing them up, we're also going to decorate them with a cute groundhog face. It helps if you have some books or some pictures to look at. So take each of your balloons in turn, blow them up. Then give them a little twist. Can't tie them off because you're going to need to let the air out, but you can take a binder clip and pinch them and get your marker and draw your face on there. Once you're done, you can let the air out and do your other two. Woo, there he goes. I have one sample made up already to show you just an example. Yes. All right, so do that to your 3 balloons and then we'll move on. All right, now to prep our bottles. You're gonna get your 1/4 cup measuring spoon and your funnel, if you need one. We're going to put a 1/4 cup of vinegar in each bottle. Since we're doing an experiment here, and it's important to have everything stay the same or constant and only have one thing change. So the vinegar is going to be one of our constants, so 1/4 cup in each. The baking soda that we're going to add later will be what changes. And that way we'll be able to see the differences caused by the baking soda, and we'll know it's the baking soda since that's the only thing changing. So 1/4 cup in each bottle. Okay. Now I'm going to prep the baking soda. If you have a partner, you may not need to put it in little cups. You can scoop it right out of the jar into the bottles. But I'm doing it by myself, so I'm going to show you that I'm going to measure it out into the cups ahead of time. We're going to go by 1/2 teaspoon increments. So first, I'm going to put 1/2 teaspoon in 1 cup. That'll be for one of the bottles. Then 1 teaspoon. If you want to be actually exact, you can. You can get a smooth knife and kind of smooth the top off, or your finger. And then 1.5 teaspoons is actually 1/2 tablespoon. So I happen to have this handy 1/2 tablespoon scoop. But if you don't have that, like I said, it's 1.5 teaspoons. All right, so there we go. We have 1/2 teaspoon, 1 teaspoon, and 1/2 tablespoon. All right, I've moved this over to the library's counter here. 1, it's by the sink in case there's a spill, and 2, it'll give us a nice wall so that once the groundhogs pop up, we can use our flashlight to help them see their shadows and we can check out what they look like. It helps if you have a helper with this. One person can pour the baking soda and the other person can be ready to go with the balloon to pop it over the top. Since I'm doing this myself, I'm going to get in position here. Get this balloon ready. I'm going to grab my cup, because you have to do this pretty fast. So I'm going to dump in and put the balloon on very quickly. Here we go. Woo! There's one little buddy. That was our half teaspoon. Do it with our teaspoon of baking soda. Here is our half tablespoon. And you can see, depending on how much baking soda we added, changes the size of our groundhogs. We'll see. Will they see their shadows? Oh, yeah. Depending on where we hold the light, depends where the shadow is. Small, medium, large, right? The science behind this is that baking soda is a base and the vinegar is an acid. So when they meet, they release gas, and that's what goes up and inflates our balloons. So there's our experiment. Hope you try it at home and have some fun. Happy Groundhog Day.